Hi, good morning and welcome to Cooking Uncovered. Today in my kitchen we are going to make the most delicious mincemeat that you've ever tasted. Now please don't get turned off by the word mincemeat because in actual fact there's no meat in mincemeat, in this mincemeat. I know back in the day people used to use suet as kind of a filler and a flavor base, but today we're making this mincemeat out of green tomatoes. So I've got my green tomatoes here. Green tomatoes, Thai eggplant, if you can believe it, and apples and raisins. And so I'm going to show you how to do this. So what I've done in my processor here, I have cored my tomatoes and then I've cut them up and they've gone into the processor. So in front of me right here, you can see all that liquid. That's the green tomato juice, which you don't want. That's just a bowl so that the tomatoes don't sit in their own juice. So again, you want to just core your tomatoes and get rid of any impurities that you don't like on the tomato. Anything you don't want to eat, get rid of. And simply just quarter them and pop them into the processor, and we're going to blend those up. Now, the difference in this mincemeat is the fact that I am using Thai eggplant. And this is what they look like. Aren't they gorgeous? They are so delicious. And for this recipe, believe me, it's going to be amazing. Normally I use about 9 cups of green tomatoes, but I don't have 9 cups of green tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Thai eggplant. So I'll use 3 cups of the green tomatoes. Get that all into the bowl. I'll use 3 cups of 3 cups of green tomatoes. I'm just going to let that sit back here and drain. And I'm going to use 4 cups of the Thai eggplant. So let me just clean up my board here. So here's my Thai eggplant, and this is what we're going to do with them. Just like the tomato, I do want to take off the ends. And again, I'm just going to quarter them. So put them on your board, and they do have seeds, so don't worry about it. They're going to taste wonderful. Quarter those, and they go into a measuring cup like this. And so it's about 4 cups, and I've cut them all up into quarters. So that's ready to go. So I've got my green tomato draining over here. I have my apples already cut up, so these are 9 apples all ready to go. And my raisins are ready to go, and I just want to show you though how to peel an apple. Everybody dreads peeling apples, but this is kind of a fun way. And all I've done is I've chopped my apples up into kind of bite-sized pieces, so don't worry about it because it all boils down. This recipe is going to simmer on the stove for approximately 2.5 to 3 hours. So with your peeler, just go in a round motion, and you won't believe how easy it is to actually peel an apple. When I was little, my mom used to, and there was 9 of us at home, my mom used to challenge us to peel the apple in one big long string, and it kind of made the apple peeling a little bit more fun and not as bad a job. So there we go, one long string, it's perfect. So that's how you peel an apple. And then to core the apple, you just, if you have a corer, that's great because they work well. Just run down the side of the corer with your big knife and just cut out the core. And that's how you core an apple. It's that simple. Alright, so my apples are all chopped up, ready to go. My raisins are here. My green tomatoes are now, they've all, the juice is all strained off. See that? All this juice in the bottom. We don't want the juice. We just want the green tomatoes. So you take your big pot, whichever pot you decide to use. So in goes your 3 cups of strained tomatoes. 3 cups of strained tomatoes. In goes your 9 apples. They're all cut up and ready to go. In goes your 4 cups of eggplant. Now this is all going to reduce, so don't worry. 4 cups of Thai eggplant. And to that, we want to add 4 cups. Well, you know what? Some people like raisins, some people don't. Now I'm going to add 4 cups. You can add 6 cups is a good idea too. So we're just going to put all that in. So let's say 4 to 6 cups. I'm adding, I'll add the 5 cups. 5 cups of raisins. There we go. And to that, you're going to add now your spices. So, starting with your nutmeg, you want to add 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Goes right in. You want to add 2 teaspoons of cloves. So just 2, 1, 2. Don't skimp on these. These taste really, really good. You want 2 teaspoons of allspice. There we go. And 4 teaspoons of cinnamon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2 teaspoons of salt. So this is, 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of salt. And that'll be your flavor base along with your apples, your eggplant, and your green tomatoes and your raisins, of course. And then we're going to add half a cup of vinegar, just white vinegar. White wine vinegar would do. And now you're simply going to put this on the stove, and it's going to, you're going to bring it up to a boil. It's going to simmer away, and then you reduce it and you simmer for about 2, 2.5, 3 hours, and it's going to be amazing. So we're going to put this on the stove. So I have my mincemeat on the stove, got it all mixed in, and it's starting to get warm. Now I'm going to add just 1 cup of water, and that'll help with the process of starting to blend all the flavors in and help it start to reduce and to cook. So at this point, you want to make sure it simmers away now on a low flame. You don't want it to burn, so I would stir this about every 10-15 minutes. So, oops, wrong lid. So we're going to put a lid on this and just let it simmer away. That is going to be gorgeous. And don't forget to add your sugar, which is about 4 cups. Now if you like a sweeter mincemeat, you can add up to 6 cups, but I'm going to only add 4 cups today, and that'll be perfect for this recipe. So make sure you don't forget to add your sugar to the recipe, and make sure you stir it in really well, and then it'll simmer for about 2.5 to 3 hours. So it's been about 3.5 hours. I've left it on simmer. I've stirred it a lot of times, and our mincemeat is unbelievable. It is so gorgeous. I have to show you the color of it because it just it's so luscious. It's brown, it's thick, it's aromatic. So that is the end result of when you cook your green tomatoes, your Thai eggplant, your raisins, and your apples, and all the lovely spices that you put into it. All right, so now we have to put them in jars. All right, so here we go. I've got my beautiful mason jars ready to go in my pan on the back stove. They've come to a boil. They're nice and hot. Now, if you have a canner, of course, it's best to use a canner. But my canners are all at school, so I'm going to just do this with what I have here at home. And the jars are very hot, so you've got to be careful. So your mincemeat has to be very hot, and your jars have to just come out of the canner. They're boiled and they're sterilized, so they're ready to go. So what you want is about 1/2 inch at the top of your jar. Don't overfill it, but what you do is you take a knife or anything and you kind of push it down to make sure that there's no air bubbles. Now, I can see right now that this is actually too full. So I'm going to take just a little bit out. You want it's called headspace, and you want about 1/2 inch. Now, take a clean paper towel and clean off the rim, because you can't put your lid on if you have any food on the top of the rim, it won't work. So just run your clean paper towel around your very hot jar, making sure there's no debris. Do it again to make sure there's nothing on top. Run around, clean, good. Now I take my sterilized snap lid. It goes into the center, like that. And then you take your ring. Now, this is the trick. You tighten only till tighten. You don't yank. You just tighten to finger trip tight, and you leave it. So what will happen later on is all the jars, you've got them all lined up when we do all this whole batch. Carl's going to help me. And all of a sudden you'll hear this pop, 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 and the snap lids will indent in. So they'll be concave. So you hear the snap, and then you'll see this concave appearance to the snap lid. And that is how you can mincemeat. So these beautiful jars of mincemeat, see, that's what they're going to look like. I'm going to label these, and I'm going to give these away probably, and take some to school to show the kids, because they're probably going to watch this video as well. So that's my green tomato mincemeat. And my mom has been making this mincemeat without the Thai eggplant, of course, just green tomatoes for many, many years, and it's a beautiful, beautiful recipe. So thanks for watching Cooking Uncovered, and good luck on your mincemeat. It's a great, great, great recipe. Thanks for watching.